iPhone 14, the biggest iOS update from Apple. Although the iPhone 13 is now the new child on the block, reports have already drawn a picture of what the so-called iPhone 14 will look like. The iPhone 14 is expected to be released in September 2022, and reports say that it will contain a dramatic makeover, extra features and much more. Today's video, we are going to talk iPhone 14, the biggest iOS update from Apple. This video is going to be very interesting if you are a big fan of iPhone. Let's head right into the video. Apple tries to reuse product design languages over numerous release cycles to reduce manufacturing expense and improve profitability. The flat-sided redesign of the iPhone 12 carried over into the iPhone 13 with just a number of tweaks to the exterior cover. A major makeover for the 2022 iPhone may be early for Apple's regular update schedule, but it is plausible. The functioning and feature set of the iPhone is greatly dependent on iOS upgrades. Other from CPU modifications and camera enhancements, there is little adjustment that can be done to the hardware that would substantially impact how iOS runs. Apple has released technologies like Force Touch and Face ID that prompted operating system features to evolve around them. Apple might eliminate the camera hump on the upcoming iPhone. The iPhone 12 marked a shift in the rounded edge design observed since the iPhone 6. It switched to a flat edge with smaller bezels to showcase the all-screen display. However, it did preserve aspects of the iPhone X design languages, including the original notch and button positioning. The iPhone 13 was debuted in 2021 with many of the same design characteristics, and the two-generation Apple handsets are so identical, a casual observer may have problems separating them. The most major adjustments were to the back camera bump and the notch. When examining Apple's design trends over the previous decade, it is simple to figure out a pattern. The iPhone 4 design remained prevalent for 4 generations of iPhones, with slight display size modifications. The iPhone 6 redesign hung around until the iPhone X, another 4-year cycle if you add iPhone 8 into that total. The iPhone X design paradigm developed from the iPhone 6 with the rounded corners, albeit it only remained around for 3 years this time, altering in the iPhone 12 generation. Removing the notch would be the most major design change for iPhone since adding the notch. Analyst Ming-Chi Kuo thinks Apple would instead employ the hole punch camera technique. This Kuo report emerged on March 1, 2021, more than a year before the possible iPhone 14 release. Apple may be exploring a hole punch camera instead of the notch, but a lot may happen between that rumour and release. Apple's iconography has always hinged on what the front of the iPhone looked like. Previously, it featured the home button, then the notch, both of which were distinctive and exclusive to Apple. Apple may employ titanium for the Pro model's chassis. The use of the premium material might push up the cost, but enhance durability overall. The round volume buttons may return. Avid leaker John Prosser revealed renderings of the rumoured iPhone 14 only days before the iPhone 13 was unveiled. These renderings revealed an iPhone 4-like design with glass that extends all the way to the frame and no camera bumps. These renderings verify both of Ming-Chi Kuo's revelations concerning the hole punch display and the unibody camera bump. Prosser claims the graphics were made based on pictures provided by his sources. Prosser's track record for pre-release renderings is practically faultless, with one significant and recent example. He posted renderings of the alleged Apple Watch Series 7 with flat edges, which isn't at all what the real device looks like. There is a possibility, however, that the renderings are of a device that does exist that may never release or belong to something like the Apple Watch Series 8. The iPhone 13 Pro camera bumps are greater than they've ever been. As for the unibody, flat camera hump, Apple would need to adjust the internal arrangement of the iPhone to create a place for telescopic lens systems. Apple has been looking at similar systems, however, it hasn't been deployed yet. Cameras Apple introduced better sensors and incorporated sensor shift technology to its whole range with its iPhone 13. However, it preserved the same 12MP picture resolution and added just a little longer telephoto lens to Pro models. An iPhone without a camera hump will require new camera technology. Apple doesn't upgrade its camera's megapixel count very frequently, with the recent rise from 8MP to 12MP being on the iPhone 8 and the iPhone X series. A leak said Apple is mulling a move to a 64 megapixel wide lens and 40 megapixels on the other lenses. Such a significant rise seems out of character for the corporation when a shift to 18 megapixels would be more reasonable. A further leak in April 2021 suggests that Apple might utilize a 48MP sensor for its camera, which can generate 12MP photographs using pixel binning. These 12MP photos would have a pixel resolution of 2.5 which would compete with certain DSC models. The camera would also feature a mode that can generate big 48MP photos in specific settings. Some reports imply a fourth camera module might be introduced to a future iPhone. This would be a periscope lens, employing light folding for long-distance pictures. It is more probable that this is coming in the iPhone 15, according to a report from Ming Chi Kuo. The iPhone 13 Pros feature a Pro Motion display. If the notch is gone, Apple may make use of the complete iPhone display. Currently, 16:9 films fit nicely inside the display below the notch, so the increased space wouldn't impact how material is seen. Apple would have to address how information is seen when a hole-punch camera is in place. Videos will need to fit on the display without being obstructed by the camera, and games will need to recognise that in certain orientations, buttons can be covered by the camera. The iPhone 13 Pro may vary between 10Hz to 120Hz, depending on the material being seen on the display. Some predict Apple might improve on this technology and deliver an always-on display with iPhone 14. This might feature information like the time and some alerts or widgets for seeing information at a glance. Popular leakers continue to suggest that Apple would never ship an iPhone using USB-C, rather jump to a portless design entirely. This might show itself in a number of ways, but Apple will likely choose a strategy that retains proprietary connections on iPhone. The shift to a portless phone should give consumers with an experience equivalent to the port that's being removed. Currently, customers can fast charge their iPhone at 18W and transmit data at 5 GB per second, and MagSafe with wireless data syncing is not a perfect substitute for that. MagSafe charging is inefficient and creates heat. The iPhone will restrict its charging rate over MagSafe if it gets too hot, just as it would over a cable, although that barrier is more difficult to exceed when using a wire. Another alternative is to perform a half-step approach to portless. Apple may want the iPhone to be waterproof and submersible, but wouldn't want to eliminate crucial functions from power users. The middle ground resides in MagSafe, but not as we have it now. If the future rests in MagSafe as we know it now, then that implies the shift will be to a charging device that is available for purchase now and may provide less of a shock for users. If Apple switches to a magnetic USB-type connection, then the corporation risks controversy once again over a port shift. Rumours suggest that the iPhone 14 will still have a Lightning connection, while the iPhone 15 might be the first portless iPhone. Apple debuted Face ID with the iPhone X as a better and more convenient replacement to Touch ID. It has more data points to study and less possibility to be fooled out by bad actors. One thing Apple did not consider, however, is a worldwide epidemic that would necessitate everyone to conceal their faces in public. Face ID and Touch ID might be used in combination on future iPhones. Since mask requirements started, consumers have been asking for a solution from Apple. The iPad Air 4 included a new form of Touch ID incorporated in the side bottom, which might be used in future iPhones. Apple has also been working on putting Touch ID on the iPhone display. Despite the epidemic, Apple may be delaying to bring Touch ID back to the iPhone until it can perfect this strategy. So guys, there you have it. Will you be changing your next iPhone because of these new features, or rather keep it safe with what you have now? Leave your thoughts in the comment box. Make sure to like, comment and share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more informative videos like this. See you in the next video. Stay tuned.